Detroit Lions fans, welcome back. Thursday, May 15th. It's been a great day. Before we get into today's discussion topic, whatever we're going to talk about, I don't even really know 100% what we're talking about. I need Teresa Ruckel reach out to me for your Aiden Hutchinson helmet that you won in the members giveaway. I'm going to talk some more about some member stuff at the end. Stick around. It's going to be good. Just stick around. Trust us on that. We got some more news and a challenge that we're going to issue, and it's going to be well worth it. The challenge is not that big, and the reward is massive. I'll just tell you guys that. But Will, what are we talking about today?
Same boat as you first to start this thing off. Greg Kellogg, I got a Kirby Joseph signed football for you, buddy. Give us a shout. Let us know where to send this thing, man, because I'm ready to put a nice little thing in the man cave, or throw it back out to the den. I don't know, man. What are we doing? So, Greg Kellogg, yeah, get a hold of us, man, so we know where to send this thing. Looking at getting those things out tomorrow, man, if I could, man. So please do that. But Steve, today, we got a little distracted with this schedule release, but right just before that schedule release, all these offensive coaches did a beautiful press conference for the Detroit Lions. I feel like there was a lot of nuggets talked about, and let's get into this offense and just see where this thing goes. So, letting it flow off of that, Steve, talking about this Detroit Lions 2025-2026 Super Bowl offense. How you feeling?
I think that our offense is going to be, we know what the offense is going to be. I don't expect any surprises. I don't expect any curveballs. We're going to line up. We're going to punch in the mouth with our offensive line. We're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to pass when we need to. We got playmakers everywhere. Not worried about the offense, but I'll be honest. Life in the Perkins household has been a little chaotic, Will. I have not been able to watch a lot of press conferences. So enlighten us on what was said by, I'm guessing, I think Scotty Montgomery said I had a press conference, and Johnny Morton, I believe, as well. I don't know if there's other coaches that had him as well, but what was going on?
Yeah, they all were there, man. So I'll walk us through this thing, but they all were there. So you had Coach Morton, Hank Fraley, Coach Shaw, the tight ends coach, Tyler, I forget how to pronounce his last name. Is it Roll?
Yeah.
Coach Troy, Scotty Montgomery, and Mark Brunell. They all talked or whatever, but there was some sauce that I felt like was released by starting off with Coach Morton, man. And Steve, I don't know what the heck happened to me, how I got distracted, how I let your pretty little young face distract me. But guys, pump the brakes on this whole entire show. It's Steve's birthday. It's my dog's birthday, Steve. Happy birthday. Happy 25th birthday, Steve.
Yeah, I was just going to say, man, it's crazy to just be so young and just so full of life at the ripe age of 25. Like, I still feel like I got a lot of life lessons to learn. But yeah, it's been a good day. Left work early today, spent it with my daughter, just hanging out, doing some dad stuff, bottles, burps, and poops. So we can't think of a better way to spend a birthday. Just getting shit on and puked on. It's been glorious in all seriousness.
That's awesome, man. First birthday as a dad, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we appreciate you talking some Detroit Lions football on your birthday. But cycling back to the business, Coach Morton, man, and I took some notes here, but F these notes. Here's what I'm going to tell you, because there's something inside of me that I've just been wanting to let out, and we had to talk about the schedule release. But Coach Morton talked about a lot of things. One of the things that he highlighted was he was going to keep this offense virtually the same. There was a few things that he would change based upon his personal philosophy, but the one's normal naked eye probably wouldn't even notice the changes. And then Steve, he went on to talk about something that I feel like was very important. It was very pertinent. And do yourself a favor, go out and sign this young man to your fantasy football team, because he went on to talk about J-Mo, and he said this, Steve. Breakout year for J-Mo is what we're expecting, but cool, whatever. He said, amazing talent. Fine, we knew that. Guy gets the ball in his hands, man, and it's like we talk about people get those chairs when like, hey, what are we doing? Is this going to the crib? What we doing? We know all of that stuff. The thing that really excited me was that he said J-Mo has been locked in. He's been a pro's pro in those meeting rooms. He said the questions that he's been asking and the detail that he's been going into has been phenomenal, and it's showed a true elevation in football acumen. He's turning into a veteran football player. And then on top of that, Coach Montgomery mentioned when he spoke, and we'll get into him a little bit later on, but when he spoke, he said when those guys came back, J-Mo was one of the first guys back. Steve, this is a guy with a tremendous amount of talent. But on top of that talent, he's locked into the meeting rooms. He's locked into training and preparing. He's locked into the playbook. I cannot wait to see J-Mo this year. Hearing those things, Steve, how you feeling about J-Mo?
Scared.
Scared for the league?
Yeah, if I'm a defensive back and I looked at that schedule release last year, I'm a little nervous that I got to guard one of the fastest guys in the NFL. And if I don't have to guard him, I have to guard one of the best route runners in the league. And if I don't have to guard him, I got to guard one of the young rookies that I'm very high on, and Isaac Tesla, who runs a 6'4", or is 6'4", runs a 4'4", catches everything, athleticism. This wide receiver room in general is a problem. But starting with Johnny Morton and his comments, I think maybe Lions fans will take that as like a little weight off their chest, like a little sigh of relief, because I think a lot of people were expecting Johnny Morton to come in here and just change everything. And I was a little worried about it too. Like, this offense is what it is, man. You got the keys to a Ferrari, just don't crash it. Like, you got everything you could possibly hope for if you're an offensive coordinator coming here as a year one play caller. You have a top 3 offensive line. You have the best running back duo in the NFL. You got all the playmakers I just mentioned, plus Sam Laporta. Jared Goff, who's a seasoned pro and ultimate veteran, knows what he's doing in the NFL. Is there a better situation as an offensive coordinator in the league? I don't think so. So just take what Ben Johnson did. Just be a little bit smarter. You don't have to be as cute. And I like that Morton, I think a couple months ago, said that he wants this offense to be more explosive. If I'm connecting the dots and he wants explosion, and J-Mo showing up to meetings and looking like an NFL caliber player mentally, finally, we know the physical traits are there. Is he locked in as a mature young man? I think he's only like 23. Like, he's still got some growing up to do. We've talked about that, but is that finally happening right now in front of our eyes, William? Because if you want to talk about making this offense explosive, it starts with 2 people, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. Like, love him, honor St. Brown, but I don't get that same hold your breath when he touches the football. Like, he'll route some people up. He'll catch every pass. He'll find the soft spot in the zone. But when Gibbs breaks past that defensive line and gets to that second level, hold your breath. Jameson Williams touches a football, hold your breath. So if that's what we're doing and I'm connecting the dots, I think he was talking about Jameson Williams when he said making the offense more explosive, and maybe adding Isaac Tesla through the draft was like a little cherry on top, a nice little wrinkle that we'll add too. So I'm excited. I'm glad he said that he's just going to keep everything pretty much the same. I think that's just what we need. I think our only concerns have really been health and defense, which kind of go hand in hand. So I'm not really worried about the offense, but Jameson Williams was already, I don't even want to call it a breakout year. I think his breakout year was last year. 56 catches and 1,000 yards. One of only, like, I think I heard that only a couple wide receivers ever had a 1,000-yard season on that many catches. It's crazy. So, I mean, can you imagine if we get him the ball 80 times in a season?
No.
Maybe even just 70. Can we bump that up from 56 to 14? That's not a crazy jump, is it? Like, and we're talking about a guy who's been suspended last year, who missed a couple games. So if that's 7 touches there and 7 touches in the other game, like, we could easily be talking about 70 yards or 70 catches, maybe 1,400 yards. Like, it's possible.
Steve, with that in mind, and this is just something that's been rolling in my head, we've talked about, you have to go sign Aiden. You have to get Aiden under contract. I don't think it's as big of a deal as some of the other teams, because with Aiden's history, being a Michigan man, I think that he wants to be here and he's deeply rooted here. Not to say that he could never leave, but I think that adds a little bit of I say it's less pressure to have to feel like that I really need to get this done. But I do feel that pressure for J-Mo now. After what these guys have been saying, what I've seen from J-Mo already, and what I'm anticipating this season could look like, do you think maybe get J-Mo on the books sooner than later? Because that price is only going to do this. I would imagine. Because right now you could say, hey, listen, J-Mo, you sat a whole season just rehabbing, right? Then we've missed some football games, man. So, I mean, we didn't have you for a few football games. So can we negotiate this price? I mean, I know you had 1,000 yards, but it was, we barely limped there, man. So maybe maybe don't do me like T. Higgins out here, man. You know, you know what I mean? Can we get a little bit? I know you got to get paid, man, but can we negotiate that price at this level and then sign it now? Because after this season, Steve, that price is gonna be.
Could go
So,
up.
are you interested?
25 million. We could be talking.
So, are you interested in signing him sooner than later now, or are you still just like, hey, let him play out this season, kind of like a prove it season?
I need Hutch to sign first. And first of all, for you even mentioning him not being a Detroit Lion for life would include me taking a trip to Canada and not getting across the bridge, if you know what I mean. Just trip stops at the Gordie Howe. You know what I mean? Like, honey, take the car. I'm walking. You know it's a high risk, high reward, because you're right. If he has a season like I just said, 70 catches, 1,400 yards, 10, 11 touchdowns, 20 million would have been a discount. We're now probably in the ballpark of at least, hey, if you want to even call my phone, it's 25 mil. Like, don't even dial my area code without thinking 25 million on your mind. It's risky. It could be a reward. How long are we talking? I don't know. I would prefer to get the Aiden Hutchinson deal done, signed, delivered, same draft class. I think he's more pertinent, more important. He's the anchor of the defense. He's exactly what we were missing all last season. Obviously, I think he's more important to this team than Jameson Williams. And I love JMO, but we've seen that we can win without him. So we've seen him get suspended and we've won games. We've seen that when he was a rookie and he missed games due to injury from his knee that he hurt in college, we struggled, but eventually ended up winning some games and getting hot and almost sneaking into the playoffs. So, and I know we won some games without Aiden Hutchinson too. I get it. But when you got a game wrecker who can change a game late in the fourth quarter, I think Aiden Hutchinson's just more important. I would prefer to get that deal done, but you're right. At the end of the season, 20 million could be looking like a discount, and the decision might get a little tougher after this year. So I don't know. I would just prefer to get Hutch signed first.
Yeah. Brad scares me is the only thing. Brad, I remember when they were at the owners meeting this year, and he said, signing receivers, really good receivers. It's tough. It's tough. It's hard to do because those guys are expensive, and signing edge rushers are expensive. And Steve, you're absolutely right. I 1000% agree with you. If we're picking in between the two, I got to get that edge rusher. But hey, if we're talking about one, we're talking about 1A and 1B. Yeah. JMO changes the game when he's out there. He stretches the field, but he's better than stretching the field. This is a guy who just does all of the things, which is what you need to be if you're going to be a receiver from the Detroit Lions. Steve, no block,
no rock.
No rock, period, man. So this is a guy who does all the things. He'll block. This is a guy who played at Bama, man, was running down on special teams, making tackles, man. He's a football player before he's just a flash in the pan, go make a big play at receiver type kid, man. So he is somebody, man, that I really want to see a Detroit Lion for life, man. He seems like he's cleaning up his life, man, and he's just getting better and better every year. I think this is a year where we see it. Coach Morton is a guy who historically is wanting to throw that ball down the field and take his shots. Then we got the perfect guy to do that thing. So the last thing that I'll say with Coach Morton, Steven, we'll move on. He did mention Hendon Hooker, and he did say this about Hendon. He said, Hendon has been getting coached up by everybody, from Mark Brunell to even Kyle Allen. He said the day one, Kyle Allen in the meeting room, he's been coaching up Hendon Hooker. He said he's excited about Hendon Hooker, but what he's looking for out of him this season 3, is consistency. He said he's a guy who can do all of the things, but he needs to clean some stuff up with his footwork and his accuracy. And you do that by being consistent, having your feet in the right place, using the right techniques. And that's something that he's going to be working on and harping on for Hendon Hooker. So I'm looking for Hendon Hooker to make a huge jump in season 3. Am I talking about a huge jump and jumping behind Jared Goff? I'm not. So please stop it. It's whatever you're typing. Some of you already know, but I am looking to see Hendon Hooker make some improvements this year, and I'm excited to see it, man. What can Hendon Hooker be? So, just to say that he spoke to him, man. But the next coach that came up, man, was Hank Fraley, Steve, and this offensive line. After this draft and us drafting 2 new toys, man, on this offensive line, Steve, are you excited about the O-line moving forward?
I'm excited about the offensive line moving forward in years to come. This year, I'm curious to see Graham Glasgow and Tate Ratledge, who comes out on top in that battle. But to think of our offensive line with Miles Frazier in that equation, and I like to think of Tate Ratledge get some snaps at center. Curious to see how he's going to be used, what the role of Graham Glasgow is going to be, how diminished will it be? Will he be a starter? Will he even be able to be the backup center? I don't know. I'm curious to see how that's going to look in training camp But I think our offensive line for the next 3 to 5 years is pretty much set. And I think I heard something about Giovanni Manu in one of these press conferences I saw on Twitter. I'll let you get to that. You probably have more of the information than I do. But if that's another guy we're throwing into the ring, well, we're going to have a big, physical, fast, athletic, overpowering offensive line, especially in the interior. And then you add a Penei Sewell, and maybe 2 or 3 years from now, we don't know what's going to be going on at left tackle with Deck. But we'll see. But I'm really excited about the interior. I'm excited to see those battles in camp and see who's going to win, who's going to lose, who's the role player.
Yeah, this was another one, Steve. I was super excited about, and you're dead on. The first thing that he mentioned that I really circled was cross training. He said he's a coach that believes. Some other teams don't believe in it, but the reason why Tate started getting those snaps immediately because he's a coach that believes in cross training. If you don't have a job in stone, you're a replacement offensive lineman, either in the interior or on the outside. That's what you are. You're a replacement. So you need to be able to jump into multiple spots. Maybe we need you to put a Band-Aid on guard. Maybe we need you to go play tackle. You need to be able to do both. You are a replacement guy. You know what I mean? Same thing with Tate. Tate has not won a job yet. I'm not here to say that he won't eventually win a job, but since you haven't won a job, we need you to be ready to do center or guard. So he did say that he looks at him as an interior guy. He's stronger at center currently, but he wants him to get comfortable snapping the football, and he'll only get better by controlling the offensive line, because that's what the center does. The center gets in there. Not only is he snapping the football, but he's making all of the calls and checks and reading, the defensive line and the coverage that they're in, by the safeties and stuff. So he wants them to get comfortable with that, because if you can command the offensive line when you go to play guard, it's easier for you to be commanded by Frank when he's out there at center. So I love the mindset of Hank Fraley when he's talking about cross-training these guys. He said the same thing with Miles Frazier. He's going to have him play guard. He's going to have him play tackle, cross-training, having these guys ready to play either position. But it is going to be a bloodbath when they get into training camp. He said it's a philosophy that all of the coaches are on board with. These guys are all going to be entered into that melting pot, and whoever comes out the most consistent, playing the best football, is going to be the guy that goes, one of the 5 guys that gets put out there on that O-line. That excites me. No disrespect to Graham Glasgow. I'm not giving his position away. He's going to be a part of that battle. And honestly, I'm expecting Graham to win the first battle. Father Time is undefeated. I don't think that he's going to win the war, but I got enough respect for that man to believe that he probably wins the battle with his technique, because Coach Fraley did say this. In high school, these guys are bigger and stronger than everybody. They're just winning based upon that. You get to college, you get taught a certain set of skills and techniques, but the college game is different than the NFL game. You get to the NFL, and now we need to change that. So Miles, and Tate are both going to be on a learning curve, learning those techniques, where guys like Graham Glasgow already know what the expectations are, how to play this game, the speed of this game, the strength of these defensive linemen, and the speed of these defensive linemen that are be coming at him. I would expect that he probably wins that battle to start off on the back half of the season. Maybe Tate can overcome, or maybe it's just one of those things to where if we need him on a given week because one of these guys are banged up, he gets in there. Another guy, Christian Mahogany. I'm excited to see Christian Mahogany take a step forward. But Steve, you mentioned Gio, and one of the things I said about Gio last year when I watched him on film, it wasn't pretty, but he moved people. He moved people, and that's pretty much what Hank Fraley, Coach Fraley, I mentioned. Man, he said Gio is a physical presence when he steps on that football field. Now it's about proper techniques, doing the right things. He spent the offseason training with Taylor Decker. He's another guy that's going to be cross-training when we get to camp. He'll be playing some tackle. He'll be playing some guard. We'll see where he ultimately falls into place. But he also mentioned Yodi and Kobe Sorsdahl. These are guys that are still in these battles, man. Last thing that I'll say on the offensive line is, and I love this about the Detroit Lions, he said, we can't keep everybody. I wish that I could. But we are preparing these guys to go get jobs and to be able to feed their families. If they're not playing in Detroit, they'll be playing at one of these other 31 teams. They have a phenomenal group here in Detroit with this offensive line. We'll see who's the cream that rises to the top.
People just aren't in love with offensive line. It's just not sexy, Will. It's just can't make a bet on an offensive lineman. I can't pick an offensive lineman in my fantasy football draft. I get all that, but real football heads know you have to dominate. And I just mean dominate. in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, it's just an old cliche. That's where games are won. So for the Lions to have one of the best offensive lines, I'll just say it, they're the best offensive line. I think we're younger than Philly. I think 2 or 3 years from now, we'll still be in the category we're in, and I think Philly's going to have some old guys starting to retire. I know they got a couple of young kids, but all in all, I think our offensive line's the best in the NFL. It's an ugly position group, but that's where games are won. Like, you want to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs? He could easily run for 2,000 yards this season. The only thing that's going to stop him, does he get enough carries? Like, do we need him late in the fourth quarter to really wear a game out and milk the clock? Or can we use David Montgomery in that role and kind of give Jahmyr a little bit of a rest? I think he's a 2,000-yard back, and it's a hell of an accomplishment, but I just don't see it happening because of how our team's built. Like, we're not just a team that's going to run the football. We could beat you with 1,000 different moves. So, and that all starts with the offensive line. Jared Goff, we've talked about him time after time since the draft. Like, we've drafted to the needs of Jared Goff because I'll just use it. In my opinion, the team's kind of forced to do so, maybe even a little bit handicapped with having to draft and setting their team up around Jared Goff because of his skill set. His skill set is he's a pocket passer. You have to not let people get to him. You have to build your offensive line. Like, it might not be pretty, and I don't love the idea either, but I understand what we're doing. We have to keep Jared Goff upright. We have to give him time, because when he does have time and he doesn't make stupid decisions sometimes, he's lethal. But we just have to clean up a little bit of his mental game, especially against that Washington game. I'm still not over it. But we just have to build this team around him for now. And it's scary because this Detroit Lions offensive line is just what's just going to keep churning along.
Yeah. The next couple guys, Steve, and kind of feeding off, I got a question for you, feeding off of what you just said, kind of the beginning of it. Going into this season, and the next guys that I'm going to mention, Coach Shaw, Coach Choice, and then Coach Montgomery, who had the running backs the year before. You mentioned David Montgomery maybe finishing football games. Do you think that we're going to see any change in the two running backs? Is it going to be Jahmyr Gibbs 60-40? Is Jahmyr Gibbs going to take over as the lead back? Is it still going to be 50-50? What do you think going into the season we'll see from the Detroit Lions in that backfield?
For the sake of health, I like 50-50. Listen, I know Jahmyr Gibbs is the more explosive guy, but if he gets banged up, tweaks an ankle, hamstring, something minor, I don't want that to linger around for 4, 5, 6 weeks. Like, we're lucky enough that we're in a position where if that's the case, we can feed David Montgomery and this team's going to be just fine. And vice versa. We saw it last year when Jahmyr Gibbs had to step up and take on a heavier workload. Team just kept on churning and didn't miss a beat. I think we actually got a little bit better. So if I have to be conservative, 50-50, but I'll say that I think Jahmyr Gibbs has to be the feature back. But if something were to happen, I'm perfectly comfortable with David Montgomery. Like, this is like the most comfortable seat to sit in when we're talking about running backs, because there's no wrong answer. We just got two workhorses. We got two guys that are going to get over 1,000 yards. All right. I wouldn't be surprised if, as a backfield, we have 3,000 total all-purpose yards between the two running backs. Like, it's not crazy. It's just the most comfortable seat for Detroit Lions, I think, is offensive line and then probably running backs. Like, it's a very nice seat. It's comfortable. It's warm. It's heated. I can cool it down a little bit. I can recline it. It's like sitting at the movies. The only thing I'm missing is a little popcorn. So running backs, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the younger, more explosive guy, so he should get the bulk of the carries. But the NFL season's long. Like, we've seen the injury bug last year. It really wears some guys down. So I'm comfortable with 50-50 to start. But if something happens, if there's a tweak there and we got to go to a 70-30, either way, 60-40, whatever, I'm comfortable with whatever direction we have to go.
Yeah, I dig that. I'm with it. A lot of people are mentioning that Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to take over as the lead back. Don't see it. I don't think that that's going to happen. Not because he's not capable, but Brad Holmes talks about something, and I want to kind of relate it to what we're talking about right now with these running backs. When we're talking about the draft, we don't talk about the 32 teams selecting in the first round. Sometimes there might only be 15 guys who are rated first round guys. I know there's 32 guys that are going to get selected in the first round. To me, David Montgomery is a first round running back for sake of conversation. And Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously a first round running back. So we got two starting caliber running backs. David Montgomery could go start for other teams in the league and not be splitting carries. He could be a premier back that's carrying the load for a team. It's just so happened we have the blessing to have two of those guys. That's for those reasons, man. I think that for the longevity of their careers, right, you keep them going 50-50. And just like you said, Steve, one get banged up, hey, then we have the other one carry the load until the other one gets back up to snuff, and then maybe we get maybe 10% of that load to Sione Vaki or Craig Reynolds. You know what I mean? After that, but this is going to be a 50-50 backfield share. Now, what I will say and what I will hope is this: once we get into the playoffs, we ride the hot hand, whatever it is, right? If David Montgomery is pounding guys and just into submission, then ride that hot hand. If Jahmyr Gibbs is dicing guys up, man, ride that hot hand. I hope that's what this thing looks like for that playoff run. But throughout the season, 50-50, let's keep these guys healthy. Let's keep their legs fresh, and let's chase this thing, man, for as long as we can with these guys. But, Steve, I'll lump everybody else because we're already 25 minutes in. I'll lump everybody else kind of into a shell here. We had Mark Brunell. We had a tight ends coach, Tyler Roll. We had Coach Tahir Choice and Scotty Montgomery all came to that podium. Some of the highlights of things they mentioned, I already gave Coach Brunell. He mentioned Kyle Allen being like an additional coach. So I like that aspect of him working with Hendon Hooker, pushing Hendon Hooker. Competition breeds success. I like that aspect of it. Scotty Montgomery talked about J-Mo, all of the same things. How he's coming back as a professional. He's locked in. He's ready to take care of his business. He mentioned Isaac Tesla. And this is one thing that I want to say about Isaac Tesla while we're here. Coach Morton and Coach Montgomery both mentioned him and the way that he attacks the football game. But they also both mentioned Tim Patrick and how Tim Patrick will be the perfect guy to mentor and teach Tesla to play this game of football as a big guy. It's different for Khalif Raymond and Isaac Tesla to get into their routes, run their routes, break down, snap off, and do the things that you need to do as a receiver from when you're a big guy to a small guy. So it's the perfect situation of having somebody that can show him how to do it. He's not going to run his routes like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not going to run his routes like J-Mo. It's going to be different, right? And they're going to run different routes as well. So I like that aspect of it. Hopefully Tim Patrick is open to it. Don't know what that looks like as far as this roster, though, because does that mean we're going to keep Tim Patrick? Because Tim Patrick, Tesla, St. Brown, J-Mo, Khalif Raymond, that's 5 right there. Now, who's the other one's going to be? You know what I mean? So I really like Dominic Lovett, man.
That's what I was looking him up. I couldn't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's another one who could compete for special teams plays.
Yeah, I really think that this is a guy who's going to make this team. I think he's a sleeper, and I planned on pushing for us to do a show on him, man, because I think he's going to make this team, and I think he's a guy who can make some noise. He can make some noise as a kick returner. He can make some noise on special teams, and he can make his noise being a Khalif Raymond-style receiver, man. He can play outside. He can play inside. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He's just an athlete, man, and he's cheap. So I mean, like it's something to think about, something to look out for, and he has a great charismatic personality. If you've seen his press conference, and why does that matter? Because it shows you a little bit of insight of what he's like in that locker room. All right, so if he's a locker room guy on top of all of that, that excites me, man. So there's only so many spots, man. TK85's got a spot locked down darn near for life, man.
Number 1 in my heart. Number 85 in your playbooks, but number 1 in my heart.
Yeah, man. So it's only so many receiver options, man, or positions that you have to be able to keep, man. So there's something to look out for. This receiver battle is gonna be heavy, man. So I wouldn't want to be a receiver for the Detroit Lions trying to compete if your name isn't J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown, because everything else is kind of up in the air, I believe.
I think the motto for the show, just the vibe I get, is like it's just a passing of the torch. Like we talk about offensive line, centers, like Frank Ragnow, who are you going to pass the torch to? All right, J-Mo stepping up. Like I'm not saying Amon-Ra needs to pass the torch. He's got years and years ahead of him. I'm not worried about that, but just stepping up and becoming more of a professional. We talk about Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Like Demo's been in the league for a little bit. Is he going to pass the torch and, hey, young kid, it's your time, take your 70-30. I'm just here to help us win a championship. We talk about, is Tim Patrick going to pass the torch to Isaac Tesla? I don't know. Like, that's just the way football is. Like, these guys get older, you bring in some younger kids. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But this offense in general, just to wrap it up, is going to be the same with a little bit more explosiveness, I think, because I really think that this offensive line is going to be special. I think Tesla is going to be really good as a rookie. I'm not saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I do think he'll be a contributor. We got Tim Patrick. He's another matchup nightmare. I mean, we could talk about some personnel settings in another show where we have Tim Patrick, Tesla, St. Brown, and J-Mo. Hey, thoughts and prayers to you guys. Good luck covering two guys who are over 6'4". Maybe we throw Sam Laporta in the mix. Like we can create some really nasty matchups if we really want to do like an X's and O's later on down the road. But just in general, the only thing I don't want to see, and I should have said this earlier from Johnny Morton's offense, is I don't need to see Jameson Williams throwing footballs anymore. That's it. It's the last thing I got. Get him the football. Don't get him the football and then let him pass it. It was not pretty against Washington. Get him the ball and tell him to run. That's all I really need him to do. That's all I got for today, Will. I'll talk about some member stuff if you're done.
Yeah, I was just going to say, man, he's been working with Tom Brady all offseason, but we'll get that into another show, man.
I think it's going to take like 10 off seasons to even get in the same atmosphere as Tom Brady. But end of the show, didn't want to do this at the beginning. For those of you who stick around and watch and you're interested in the giveaways, got to give a shout out to the 11 people who have upgraded their memberships to that Super Den that we had talked about the other day. And I'm going to issue guys a challenge that me and Will are going to see if you guys want to accept it or not. 11 new members who have upgraded: Horgarth, Mark Moneypenny, Hatim Morad, K32, Mike V, one of our OGs, Michael Erickson, one of our OGs, Oscar Hernandez, brand new member, thank you, Andrew McCormick, Ed Perva, Jeff Abbott, and Detroit Grit all have upgraded. So here's the challenge. We sit at 11. If we get to 30, we'll do another helmet giveaway next week. As soon as we get there, we'll do another helmet giveaway as soon as we get to 30. And we got some other stuff for the rest of our members as well that we're working on. I told you guys. So you guys on the member show, I got a closet full of stuff. All right. We got plenty of stuff to give away. It's not a problem, but we hit that 30 Super Den members. I'll take my ass up to Pro Sports Zone and talk to our boy up there who's been giving us a help. John Yu, a huge shout out, has been giving us. He gave us that Kirby Joseph football we gave away. We hit 30. We'll do another members giveaway as soon as next week if we can hit it. So there's the challenge. You guys figure out if you want this. And also reminder to those people to reach out to us for the items you've already won. You got anything else tonight, Will?
Last thing is this, Steve. I'll say DetroitDen313 at Gmail. If you are having problems becoming a member, I have a video to help you out. All right. So if you are having problems, the first thing you can do is get on a laptop or desktop. But if you have to do it from your phone, all right, email us at DetroitDen313 at Gmail. I will hook you up with a video that will show you how to do it. That's all I got.
You're going to get feet pics because I guarantee I'm sending at least 5. Stick around, hit that like button. I'll be back. We'll be back later with another show.